Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Brakatam. And so, we're just seeing how this is playing out right before our eyes. This being 2018, the year of prophecy. We're seeing prophecies come to pass, like, during the Obama administration, which, America wasn't laughed at as much as they are now with Donald J. Trump, doing his boasting. Now, Barack Obama, he would do a lot of boasting too, but at least, you had the Iran nuclear deal going on. You had a lot of other things on the side to where the so-called leaders of the world, the kings of the earth, actually kind of respected Barack Obama. There was still a little bit of that there, even though he was, still bombing Syria and everything else, though. But at least other leaders had respect for him. Not that I was a Barack Obama fan, because I know that he was a Hamite and that he was wicked too. But what I'm saying, though, is that Donald J. Trump is fulfilling Bible prophecy. Donald J. Trump is a spokesperson for the New World Order, which is on the back of the dollar bill. That's what it says on the back, in Latin. I'm not sure what the Latin words were, but you can read it for yourself. But it does translate to New World Order. So America was always this place for the New World Order. But now we're starting to see the ten horns begin to hate the whore. And eventually will burn America with fire. These shall hate the whore and burn her with fire, which is right there in Revelation 17:16. So I'm going to go on to Revelation 18, but that's a key verse because we're starting to see this play out. Donald J. Trump is now taxing everyone, which Vladimir Putin put it this way: tariffs is just another way of saying sanctions. So you put sanctions on other countries, and you tell them, oh, well, you better deal with us. You can't deal with them. It's just going to cause all these nations to hate America. It'd be like, well, what fucking business is it of America if we still want to do trade with Iran or with Russia? And you're seeing a lot of these other countries purchasing the Russian Su-27 fighter planes. And you're also seeing them buy the S-400 defense systems because they know that, America will turn on them and will attack them. It's what America does. Nothing but lies. And just the fact that Donald J. Trump had the audacity to say, which you can see in the longer length videos of these, Jason Ulrich, who comes from Canada, did a whole video breakdown on this. And it's just beautiful, man. You see, though, that, the nerve of America to say that they've done all this great stuff, but Donald J. Trump in particular saying that he's accomplished more than any president in history. Just listen to him boast about himself as if he was at a rally, as if he was at a Republican rally. You don't get yes men when you go before the UN, before the world, because we know that America has destroyed country after country, just like they destroyed us, we the true Israelites. And so we know, though, that what's happening is all these nations are taking a proverb against Esau and saying, let the weak be strong, and they're calling for Putin to be a shield unto him. And S-400 systems are a shielding weapon meant to take out any air attack made on their country. So a lot of these countries are now acquiring these things. India was another ally of the United States, and they're acquiring the S-400 systems, as well as Turkey, which is known as Gomer. And you got a lot of other things going on. And pretty much now they brought in the chemical weapons into Syria, so we can expect to see this white helmet's false flag, which is kind of funny because earlier this week, I was in the spirit and was just reading out of Revelation 14, and then Edomite comes off, tells me to fuck off 3 times. And she was tweaked out. You can see the way she walked around the pole, because I watched the video also. The way she walked around the pole, she had a demon on her. But I don't think she was expecting my reaction. She probably thought I was just a regular Jesus freak, telling her to come to Jesus, that God loves her. And she wasn't expecting what was to come next. But what came next is Revelation 14. I pretty much was telling everyone how Babylon has fallen. That you can't even pull off this false flag, that Syria is still standing. And that everybody sees America for the liar that it is. You'll say that they're fighting a war on terrorism when they are the terrorists, when they are ISIS. And I said all that. I came out in the spirit. Because this is, you only get to be Superman so much. I mean, most of the time, let's face it, we're stuck in this world and we're Clark Kent, even though we're really Superman. So we only get to be in that mode for a little bit. So it felt good to unload on Esau. And Esau wasn't expecting that reaction. They were just expecting, you better repent and come to Jesus. But that's not, we don't even say that name. Nope. We're not them Jesus freaks, because that old song of Christianity has been pretty much tuned out. Nobody's singing that old song, We're not Christmas carolers, We're against Christmas. We're against these wicked feast days. We're against Esau and his wickedness, his wicked rulership. So I'm just going to read out of Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and get into Revelation 18. And the 10 horns that you saw, they are the beast, and they will hate the whore. They will make her desolate and naked. They will devour her flesh and burn her with fire. So that's eventually going to come to pass. That's the EU. And you can say the UN, NATO, they're eventually going to break alliance with the United States. France has already decreed that they need another leader, And I believe that they're going to unite with Putin as that leader, because he's a much better leader. For Yahweh has put it in their hearts to carry out his purpose by agreeing to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai will be fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth, which is America. So pretty much by giving themselves over to the beast, what makes that, we know Russia's a part of the beast system. The UN NATO is separate from the beast, but the UN NATO, the 7 heads, was meant to come against Russia, but that's with America there. But eventually America is going to be replaced, and we can see that happening. They want to still continue to deal with Iran, even though the United States and Israel says no. Revelation 18. And after this I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his splendor. He called out with a mighty voice, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. It has become a dwelling place of demons, a haunt of every foul spirit, a haunt of every foul bird, a haunt of every foul and hateful beast. For the nations have drunken the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Means have bought into her philosophies, have united with her, but now is being called out. And so we know that this is about the time that Yahushai returns, and this is about the time that they're going to destroy America, Babylon the Great. And the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxury. Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, so you do not take part of her sins, and do not take in her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai has remembered their iniquities. In other words, don't buy into Esau's philosophy. Stop celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Samhain, which is Halloween, all these wicked festivities. Be not partakers in this. Come out of Babylon the Great and get into this truth. The word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, which differs with everything that we've been taught. This new song, that's the word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Render to her as she herself has rendered, and repay her double for her deeds. Into a double draught for her in the cup she mixed. As she glorified and lived deliciously, So give like a measure of torment and grief. In other words, we're starting to see Babylon the Great falling down, and these luxuries that America has lived off on, the richest, Sears Holding Company's already gone bankrupt, as well as Toys R Us this year. So we're starting to see that fall, but pretty much all these other luxuries, the things that made America great, now is being pulled from her. And we're also starting to see these other nations smite America and say, you know what, fuck America. Since in her heart she says, I rule as a queen, I am no widow, and I will never see grief. People think that this place will never be attacked. They think that America is going to go on forever and ever. But in 1 hour, this place will be destroyed. Therefore, her plagues will come in a single day, pestilence and mourning and famine, and she will be burned with fire. That's by way of the thermonuclear missiles, the 200 million ICBMs. For mighty is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who judges her, and the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived in luxury with her. In other words, those that have been made rich off of America. And wall over her, when they see the smoke of her burning, they will stand far off, in fear of her torment, she said, and say, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. So, in other words, it's going to be via satellite. It's going to be on roughly, it's going to be all over the world. They're going to see America burn with fire, thermonuclear fire, but they will also see these chariots flying over the skies, especially the big flying roll. The merchants of the earth weep and mourn for her, since no one buys their cargo anymore. Cargo of gold, silver, jewels, and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet, all kinds of scented wood, all articles of ivory, all articles of costly wood, bronze, iron, and marble, cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, choice flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, slaves and human lives. So in other words, America is not going to be in power anymore to buy these things. And yes, America still buys slaves. You don't hear about it because, of course, it's an illegal trade that's going on. But let's face it, though, they even show you that in movies. You ever watch The Cowboy Way? They were buying slaves off that ship, from the tribe of Manasseh, Cubans, and making them work in factories illegally, but still, though, the slave trade, that's still very much going on. All these other countries are still selling slaves to America. The fruit for which your soul long has gone from you, and all your dainties and your splendor are lost to you, never to be found again. The merchants of these wares who gain wealth from her will stand far off, in fear of her torment, weeping and mourning aloud. Alas, alas, the great city, clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, adorned with gold, with jewels, and with pearls. For in 1 hour all this wealth has been laid waste, and all the shipmasters and seafarers, sailors, and all those trade is on the sea, stood far off, and cried out, and they saw the smoke of her torment burning. What city was like the great city? Who was like America? And they threw dust on their heads as they wept and mourned, crying out, Alas, alas, the great city where all who had ships at sea grew rich from her wealth. For in 1 hour she has been laid waste. So that's 1 hour. And everything's leading up to that last hour. We're starting to see this get closer and closer. Rejoice over her, O heaven, your saints and apostles and prophets, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Ha'oshai has given her judgment for you against her. So in other words, we're going to be judging Babylon the Great. We're going to be judging the kings of the earth. And pretty much That's when we go up. The elders and apostles of Great Millstone will be up there. And those that follow, which is Israel, the true leaders of Israel, the elect, the 1/3, will be up there watching this. Then a mighty angel took up a stone and a great multitude and threw it into the sea, saying, "With such violence Babylon the great city will be thrown down, and will be found no more. And the sounds of harpers and minstrels and flutists and trumpeters will be heard in you no more." All that fake music that's out there with the backwards subliminal messages, the witchcraft that they use, will be found no more. And an artisan of any trade will be found in you no more. And the sound of the millstone will be heard in you no more. And the light of a lamp will shine in you no more. And the voice of the bridegroom and bride will be heard in you no more. So pretty much, because of course we'll be in them ships. That is the elect of us. We pray we're part of that elect. For your merchants were the magnates of the earth. All the nations were deceived by your sorcery. And that's just it, though, is that now we're starting to see America lose that sorcery. Donald J. Trump just couldn't sell it. And in you was found the blood of the saints and of the prophets. All of you have been slaughtered on earth. So pretty much what's happening, though, is that people see America for the horror it is. Bashar al-Assad said this lately. If you look at his interviews, he had said that America's in no shape to be telling the countries how to live when it has a dirty history itself. And everybody knows this dirty history, that this place, Babylon the Great, America, was founded upon the slavery. And we're still in slavery to this day. Our people are still being bought and sold and traded as slaves, And the thing is, though, is that now, Esau, the so-called white man, has been deporting, and particularly the tribe of Issachar, but you could say all the tribes, been deporting them, and you could say even Haiti now, which is Levi, deporting all the tribes, separating fathers from their sons, mothers from their daughters, separating them, making them take the RFID chip so they can't get back in, because now they're identified. This has been happening for some time. Because, of course, the RFID is already out there. First, the prisoners get it, because it causes all, both small and great, free and bond. So the slaves already have it. They've been chipped. The military has it. Law enforcement has it. RFID is required if you're to serve in any of those things. And eventually, it's going to go worldwide. That's why CNN keeps on promoting this. Mark of the beast, the idea that your employer will require an RFID implant. Is going to sell it to you. And the more and more they sell it, the more these judgments have been befalling this year alone. So we know that that's about to be rolled out. And we know that this proxy war between the U.S. and China is really meant to crash the dollar system. So they can roll out that mark. Because this final battle is about to take place. Better known as the Valley Yehoshaphat, which is right there in Saudi Arabia, Syria, River Euphrates, Idlib province. This war is going to be fought out right there. And among that, they're going to bring in martial law. All sorts of things are going to be happening, leading to that last hour. Everything that we know is leading to that last hour, that final hour. So we got to keep on pushing hard while we still got this internet. They've been making Alex Jones the example, because payfuck, which is what I call it. I've also noticed this. This is what's kind of funny. If you every now and then like to look up stuff, and see if you can find that collector's item. A lot of people are now taking their collections, especially music collections. They're not even selling on eBay because of eBay and payfuck, because payfuck sucks. So what they'll do is they'll sell it on a collector's record website. You know, you try to look for an out-of-print record, and you would have to now look more on the other sites, because people know that PayFuck sucks. You have to wait almost a whole month to get paid, and anybody can make a false claim against you, and then you have to pay for them to ship it back and then get their money back, or unless you cut a deal with them. That happened with me when I was just trying to sell some things just to pay some bills. I tried to sell a Madonna shirt, and I got screwed on it because, oh, there was a stain on it. It was a used fucking shirt. I ended up having to cut the person because, you know, to send it back, I'd have to pay for the shipping to ship it back. And just, I got screwed. So I'll never deal with goddamn PayPal and fucking eBay. Fucking both, you know. And so Alex Jones, you know, which InfoWars sold through PayPal. Man, people are a fool if they deal with PayPal. Well, America's like PayPal. America sucks. Who the fuck wants to deal with America? You don't get paid on time, and then they can just freeze your assets. That's what they fucking did to Iran. Froze all their assets. So who the fuck wants to deal with these fake-ass fucking Jews? These goddamn fucking Amalekites. You can't trust a fucking word they say. They're a fucking liar. They're a piece of fucking shit. And I can't wait for America, Babylon the Great, to be destroyed in that hour. And it was just great to see Trump humiliated in front of everybody else talking about that American bullshit. People don't fucking buy it anymore. America sucks. And most of all, it ain't what it claims to be, and people see it for what it is. It's about fucking time. So with that, I hope this has been edifying, and just keep on watching, man. We're watching the movie. We're watching this play out, man. We're watching these countries laugh at America because they hate America. So for that, I want to say, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadas, Barakatum. Until next time, Shalom. Continuing onward, just laughing at this fucking lapdog. You know, this spokesman for the Rothschilds, man, which means red child, which proves Esau's red. Man, just the fact that, you know, all that American rhetoric now is being thrown down, being tossed out, you know, like, and it should have been tossed out a long time ago, you know, especially if you're an Israelite. You should have never bought into America's bullshit to begin with. But I know that we were not told that we were Israelites, so yeah, I mean, we were brainwashed from the very beginning, but now pretty much we're coming out and we're speaking against this so-called white man. We don't want to live here. Fuck this place. What's there to look forward to? Oh, Sears Holding Company? Oh, yeah, that's doing really good. Oh, what about Toys R Us? Oh, yeah, that's doing pretty good. Yeah, there's a future there. You know, I think I'm going to make big someday. I think I'm going to strike it rich here in Babylon. Right. Man, you shouldn't even want to live deliciously like these Edomites do. Let's just listen to them fucking get humiliated. Yeah. Fuck you, America. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke before the entire world. He stood up at the United Nations and spoke to the leaders of every country, to the peoples of the entire world, and he was laughed at. The President of the United States was literally laughed at when he spoke to the entire world. Giving his speech to the UN General Assembly that took place yesterday, he began his speech to the world by acting like it was a campaign rally, by tooting his own horn was the first thing that came out of his mouth. He proceeded to say that his government had done more in 2 years than any government in the U.S. in history. The response was laughter. The world took Donald Trump's words and dismissed them as a joke. Think about how significant that is. In past decades, in past generations, when the U.S. spoke, the world listened because they knew the giant was going to cause trouble. They knew that something serious was happening, that there was going to be a statement made that spoke to perhaps the future of U.S. domestic and foreign policy, particularly foreign policy for the next few years. But on this occasion, when Donald Trump spoke, he was laughed at. He went on to talk about how America wanted peace. He went on to talk about how there had to be an improvement of relations, how the U.S. wanted there to be no war. They wanted there to be peace. But it was everybody else who wanted war. Specifically, he claimed that it was Iran that was seeking war with its neighbors, that Iran was seeking war with the U.S. This is complete and utter nonsense. It is Trump who withdrew from the peaceful agreement, the JC, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, otherwise known as the Iran nuclear deal, a deal which every side except the U.S. has certified that Iran was living up to. But it was the U.S. president who withdrew, sabotaged the entire agreement, and then demanded a return to the table. So while Iran was doing everything that they said they were going to do, everything that they were obligated by the agreement to do, it's the U.S. who dares stand there and give this whole lofty notion, this whole, utter, complete garbage about how it was Iran that was in violation, or that it was Iran that was doing wrongdoings. The JPCOA is a collection of countries that agreed to relieve certain sanctions on Iran if they complied with the agreement. There was about 6 countries involved in this. The United States unilaterally withdrew and sabotaged the entire agreement. Now they return to the table and want a bilateral talk. I think it's very clear what's going on. There was an agreement that involved other countries so that the U.S. didn't have complete hegemonic control over it. If the U.S. just decided they wanted to do some kind of economic damage to Iran, they would have to get it past the other members of the agreement. But that's not what they want. They want to be able to just do whatever it is that they want, cause the harm that they want, whatever complete phony pretext it is. So by getting rid of the agreement and trying to sign a bilateral one directly between the United States and Iran with no other parties involved, it gives the U.S. the freedom to act without conscience, which is basically how they have acted. There's no one to hold them accountable as there is now with the other signatories to the agreement to say, no, you are lying, Iran is in full compliance, and they are many of them are still trying to carry out this agreement to this day. On what moral high ground does the U.S. have that they can denounce the actions of others who are trying to defend themselves while the U.S. is drowning in a sea of its own hypocrisy? It's the U.S. that has pushed to the Syrian conflict. They have helped fuel the Saudi imperialist occupation war and, frankly, genocide against the Yemeni people. And they've remained basically silent on the crimes that have been committed by Saudi Arabia. They hardly mentioned the bus full of children that was deliberately struck by Saudi Arabia, killing, I believe it was 40 children, in an absolute disgrace of a movement, a moment. And all of this is being responded to by Trump being laughed at. The so-called leader of the free world is standing there before the world being laughed at. Well, I didn't expect that kind of response. Well, you should have. Because when you stand before the UN, when you stand before the international community, you're not surrounded by a bunch of pathetic yes men that are trying to kiss up to you. You're surrounded by people that you have murdered, people that you have bombed, people whose economies you have tried to destroy, people whose lives in countries you've tried to ruin. If not you, then your predecessors. And you dare wonder why you didn't receive a warm welcome by people that you have tortured, people you have destroyed, and instead are laughed at for a completely nonsense statement like claiming that your administration in the first 2 years has done more than any in U.S. history. That is absolute nonsense. You pale in comparison to what was done during the Great Depression. You pale in comparison to what was even done by Reagan. This is complete and absolute nonsense. Many of those who have had the feeling that America had some kind of moral right, some kind of divine right to leadership, the American exceptionalism, should have been woken up by what was heard today. They should have seen Trump as he was being laughed at. You could kind of see the anger in his face when everybody reacted to him like he was a joke. That this veneer of superiority that the U.S. has always walked around with, this kind of self-identified superiority, was torn away with that act. And I think this being laughed at by the UN is something that's going to be significant for Donald Trump. It may not seem like it right now, but I think he's definitely going to be angry about this. He's going to be angry about being laughed at. And when he returns to Washington and continues to write or have some kind of say, or however it is his administration allegedly works, in foreign affairs, I can almost guarantee you will become more aggressive. He will continue to push to an even greater degree this idea that somehow the United States is ripped off by the rest of the world. Well, it is that the U.S. plunders everyone else. He even went so far as to say that OPEC is ripping off the U.S., the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. The world's big oil producers are ripping off the U.S.? Exactly how is that? If we were going to approach this from an honest eye, OPEC is basically an oil cartel that fixes prices. And you have countries, very small members, that are trying to barely get by due to U.S. sanctions. But the U.S. president has the audacity to stand before the world and say that everybody else is taking advantage of the U.S. The U.S. is the richest country in the world, with the greatest military power, that exploits everybody else, that robs the world of its resources, that invades it, murders it, without any kind of humanity whatsoever. And they dare see themselves as the victims. On what basis can Trump ever make this claim? It speaks to possibly the insanity of the U.S. And I don't mean Trump personally. I mean the general American population tends to feel this way. That somehow the rest of the world has treated the U.S. unfairly. Or that somehow the world is taking advantage of the American people. Such is complete, utter nonsense. You get this idea that when people immigrate or come as refugees to the U.S., they're stealing what the Americans have worked so hard to have, while completely ignoring that it has been their actions, their plundering, their looting of the world through violence that has caused people to become the migrants, to become the refugees that are trying to come into the country. They did it. At what point can you see yourself as the victim for having destroyed and bombed and murdered others? Now, I think this speech by Donald Trump, that this is a significant moment where a world leader was laughed at. Someone who a country that sees themselves as the divine essence of the world, the moral leaders of the world was laughed off of the stage like the ridiculous notion that it stands for. And President Trump deserves no better. At no point should any more respect be shown for Donald Trump or the U.S. empire. In fact, it deserves much worse. One of those being dragged by the hair to the International Criminal Court and finally be put on trial for the crimes that it has committed against humanity, against the entire world.
So just like I was just saying, that pretty much the EU, which is the beast, yeah, man, they want to come up with a newer system bypassing America, Babylon the Great. So I believe this is GMS Las Vegas put together a lesson, because we're all in the same spirit operating. The Holy Ghost, Rakah Kadash, that dwells in us is bringing this out, man. We're seeing it right before our eyes, this being the year of prophecy.
Mark chapter 3, starting at verse 23. And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. First and foremost, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakakadash. That's all praise to the Most High, the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elder apostles of great millstone that showed me the truth, and much love, greetings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. This is a report coming in about how you got the EU, all right, which is the beast, all right, which makes up, the 7 heads, the 10 horns, all right, EU and, NATO. You got Russia, which is known as the bear. And in prophecy, Gog and Magog, pursuant to Ezekiel 38th chapter, who's supposed to be a guard unto, Persia, which is Iran, and China. All right. And basically, they've come together to unveil a new global payment system independent of US. All right, Babylon. So what that does is it strikes a major blow to the economic infrastructure of the United States. All right. So basically the allies of America is actually doing business with the enemy to bypass these sanctions that America keeps throwing on Iran and all the countries that continue to do business with Iran. So now they're creating an actual system that will circumvent these these penalties coming from the West. And all that does is make the West become even more weaker. Okay? It gives them lesser power, especially over their own allies, because the US rides the beast, like it says in Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right. So let's get into this article and read some of it. And this plays a certain role in how they're going to basically create an alternative or a solution behind this global economic turmoil that you see happening, as a result of this Iranian deal, all right, these sanctions, these trade wars that's going on. All right, because the bankers, they've been predicting and wanting a new global economic change. Okay. So this is all what's happening now which is actually going to lead into that system that they've been trying to erect. All right. So this is from the antimedia.com. It says, in a stunning vote of no confidence in the U.S. monopoly over global payment infrastructure, 1 month ago, Germany's Foreign Minister Heiko Maas called for the creation of a new payment system independent of the U.S. that would allow Brussels to be independent in its financial operations from Washington and as a means of rescuing the nuclear deal between Iran and the West. All right. So this is causing more division. All right, which is isolating the U.S. from everybody else. We see the attitude that the West has through Trump. Anybody that tries to uphold and help these Iranians out with their deal, you know, they're still trying to trade and do business with Iran. They're sending out, you know, penalties, punishments for dealing with Iran. They don't care if you down with the West or not, if you part of the alliance or not. All right. So this kingdom is being divided up. This is all Esau's global infrastructure, man. So geopolitically and economically, he's breaking up, and it's causing him to lose his hegemony power. All right. It says, writing in the German daily Handelsblatt, Maas said, Europe should not allow the U.S. to act over our heads at our expense. For that reason, it's essential that we strengthen European autonomy by establishing payment channels that are independent of the U.S., creating a European monetary fund and building up an independent SWIFT system, he wrote. Maas said it was vital for Europe to stick with the Iran deal. Every day the agreement continues to exist is better than the highly explosive crisis that otherwise threatens the Middle East, he said. What the unspoken message was even clearer, Europe no longer wants to be a vassal state to U.S. monopoly over global payments and will now aggressively pursue its own SWIFT network that is not subservient to Washington's every whim. Okay? So they want to get that yoke up off of them, man, that American yoke. Because this whore, she rides the beast, man. All right? She has the saddle on the on the European Union. Okay? She gets to pull on that what's that thing that you put on the horse's neck to control it with? All right? Well, that's America and its overall control, you know, over the European Union. Ever since they bonded to each other, you know, when they created NATO to fight the Soviet Union, you know, during you know, after World War II. All right. So right now they wanted to break that yoke, man. They're tired of having the West's control over how they do their global payments. All right. So you could think of you know, Revelation 17 and the beast shall hate the whore. All right. And that's what this is ultimately going to lead to. All right. It says many discounted the proposal as being far too aggressive. After all, a direct assault on SWIFT and Washington would be seen by the rest of the world as clear immunity against a U.S.-dominated global regime and could potentially spark a crisis of confidence in the reserve status of the dollar, resulting in unpredictable and dire consequences. All right. I'm going to read this part again. It says many discounted proposal as being far too aggressive. After all, a direct assault on SWIFT and Washington would be seen by the rest of the world as clear mutiny against a U.S.-dominated global regime and could potentially spark a crisis of confidence in the reserve status of the dollar. Okay? resulting in unpredictable and dire consequences like what? A blow to the petrodollar. All right? And any act against the US dollar is an act of war. That's why the US always go after countries who do not want to play ball when it comes to trading with the US dollar. That's what Libya was about. All right, Gaddafi, taking out Gaddafi, Iraq. Okay, while they're trying to take over Venezuela right now. All right, the only reason why they can't move forward with Russia and China and Iran, which they're trying to slowly but surely deal harshly with Iran. Okay, that's what this is all about. Them over there in Syria, trying to have these rebel groups, attack Iranian bases in Syria and have Israel, do drone strikes over there. But they're protected by the powers, the military power and might of Russia and China. Okay, so right now they're seeing that their own allies is actually helping Russia and China to keep a hedge of protection over these nations that decide to still want to do trade and business economically with Iran. So that's the reason why you have this military buildup in the Middle East. All right, this is why sanctions are getting, tossed to and fro. Okay, prices is finna start skyrocketing. The price of oil, okay, it's finna hurt a lot of people, man. And that's why this is gonna get so ugly to the point where they're gonna have to actually have war, an actual physical war, man. Okay. Meanwhile, all this is going on, the elite's been planning for a new global economic change anyway. All right, because they trying to set a new system in place where we ain't dealing with the current currency that we dealing with right now. Because right now, even though the U.S. is still the global reserve currency, it's taking a big hit right now. It's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. All right. So that leads me over to this next one. I'll make sure I leave this article in the description box. I basically showing you that Iran, Slovakia, Europe is ready to move on. You already got the BRICS nations that's they ain't dealing with the dollar, but in Europe is joining that trend, especially just to keep the Iranian deal afloat. This is what they would have to do. All right. Anyway, let me see. All right, this is the other article I have. So all this economic turmoil you see happening, you don't think that the Rothschilds have anything to do with this, man? The elite bankers? Rothschild's 1988 prediction for new world currency in 2018 set to rock global markets. All right. It says, is this Rothschild's led prediction from 30 years ago for a new world currency about to rock global markets in 2018? December 18, King World News, Egon von Greyerz in 1988, the UK magazine, The Economist, Slovakia, forecast that 2018 would be the year of a new currency, which they named the Phoenix. Quite a mind-boggling prediction 30 years ago, especially since 2018 looks like a year when a major currency upheaval could take place. And it can very well happen, as you're seeing what's going on, all right, with Europe joining forces with Russia, China, Iran for this new economic system that will bypass penalties from the U.S. Okay, a straight up a payment channel that will allow all of Europe and other different countries that do business with Iran to be able to act, avoiding those penalties. Okay, it says for conspiracy theorists, the Economist owner consists of a number of elite families and bankers, including the Rothschilds. Was this a plan which has been in the making for a very long time? Or is it sheer fluke that a major currency event might take place in the year that the Economist predicted? All right. And I guess this was the cover going back to that time in 1988. It says, so what could be the events that will lead to a major disruption in currency markets and in the world economy in 2018? The dollar collapse, of course. All right. It says demise of the dollar as the reserve currency of the world is a certainty. It is only a question of when it will take place. The dollar does not qualify as the rock of the world currency system. Since the gold backing of the dollar ceased in 1971, it has lost 98% in real terms when measured against gold, showing you that gold is the ultimate measure for money. All right, gold will always be the global standard of currency, man. All right, and it been lost its gold status. The dollar been lost its gold standard for years. Okay, so this dollar doesn't have any value. It's just been currently backed by nothing but debt and a strong military. That's it. All right, and then for a while they've had different countries that produce oil, such as Saudi Arabia. They continue to sell their oil using only the petrodollar. All right, but that could change as well. All right, because the elites they want to change. Okay, it says, but also against most currencies, the dollar has lost greatly. In Swiss francs, for example, the dollar is down 77% since 1971. The dollar is backed by massive debts and deficits. All right, and the U.S. debt, man, it's just tolling away. Okay, you can't even keep up with it, man. The numbers just adding up every single day, man. As long as they keep printing all this money out of thin air, them numbers are just gonna be just shooting up. Are you just digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper? It says the U.S. has not had a real budget surplus since 1960 and has been running trade deficits since 1975. The dollar is backed by nothing but debts and a strong military, like I just said. It is living on borrowed time. So all this is going on, and also you got these other countries that's sick of dealing with the bullying of the West. On especially their allies. Are they sick of the U.S. monopoly on global transactions, dealing with economic transactions? They sick of that, man. So everybody wants to ditch the dollar. All right, and that's going to weaken the dollar once everything comes to fruition, leading to its collapse. All right, it says the fall of petrodollar and rise of the petro yuan. All right, and we saw, it took off about a year and a half ago, but then it kind of started to fail. All right, but Russia and China been definitely putting together that gold, especially China, man. They've been putting that gold to back up their petro yuan. All right, so it actually has some type of a worth or value. It says in 1974, the U.S. agreed to support Saudi Arabia financially and militarily on the condition that the Saudis priced oil in dollars. Since most of the world bought oil from Saudi Arabia at that time, it led to a major demand for dollars, which is still the case today. That was the beginning of the petrodollar, which has enabled the U.S. to live above its means for 44 years. But from 2018, the petrodollar will gradually be replaced by the petro yuan and also the petro ruble. Okay. China, the world's largest oil importer, will, together with Russia and Iran, switch from trading oil in dollars. Trading will be backed by a futures contract in petro yuan and a potential convertibility to gold. Except for further military intervention in the Middle East, the U.S. now has little chance of stopping this major strike against the dollar. See, this is why they have to, their only way to prevent that is to continue to attack or to wage war. All right, that's always been their way of protecting the dollar, is going to war. The military has been the ultimate protection for the petrodollar, man, because it is weak without it, is because it's nothing but debt that's behind it. It has no value. All right. So eventually this is going to happen, man. You got a lot of niggas that worship money, you know, Floyd with his foolishness counting, bands and shit, you know, niggas pulling out their bags and got all this cash. Man, you're going to have to use that for your fireplace, man. All right. Because this dollar ain't going to last. That's part of the fall of Babylon the Great. Okay. That's what's going to happen. And this is also a smack in the U.S. face against its own allies, man, because they're actually working with the enemy. This is Obadiah 1:7. It says, all men, matter of fact, let me start at the top. This is Obadiah 1:1. This is concerning Esau, the so-called white man. The version of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And that's what's happening, man. These nations worldwide, they finna rise up against Esau in battle, man. Oh, especially in the Middle East. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And even Esau, he despised himself. These European countries, they're beginning to despise the Western Edomites, man. The American Edomites, Trump. Okay? So that's why I read in the beginning, if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. Okay? So that's what's going on. China is coming up against you, rising up. All right, Russia, which those are other Edomites. All right, they're against you. All right, you got Elam, which is the East Indians, Iran. Okay, Ishmael is those Palestinians. They all are against you right now, man. You American Edomites and you so-called Israeli Edomites. Okay, you so-called Jewish Edomites. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's the attitude of the white man. He think that he's never going to go down, but you seeing what's happening in his kingdom. It's being divided up, and he's losing power that way. Okay. So let me jump down, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy, meaning all your allies, have brought thee even to the border. And that's why they're in the Middle East right now. Okay. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Okay. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound of thee. That meaning they set a trap for you. And there is none understanding in him, meaning you will not be able to detect it, man. All right, they're setting a trap for this place. The only way for it to go is down. Okay? So that's what's happening. So meanwhile, while America is losing its power, all right, geoeconomically and politically, especially in the Middle East, okay, the Rothschilds they're creating a solution. Because that's really the problem. What they're creating the earth between these nations right now, that's part of the problem. The solution to come behind all that It's creating a new economic global infrastructure, man. All right, making it digital, making it all right where you don't have to deal with all this paper money. Okay, so that's what the rise of this whole crypto system, all right, dealing in cryptocurrency is about. This was all a test run to see how people would deal with the new crypto structure of the economy. Okay, so now that they know all that information, all right, and then you got China, Russia, and the gold. All right, it says neither China nor Russia would fall for this trick. China would lose massively on their U.S. Treasury holdings. This would drive these two countries to introduce some form of gold backing of their currencies or payment system. If the paper gold trading and exchanges are still standing at that point, China and Russia will use all their resources to break the gold and silver paper market. This would drive up the price of gold and silver into a mania that the world has not seen before. Okay? So will we see a new Phoenix currency in 2018? So will the Phoenix currency, which the economists forecast in 1988 would rise in 2018, be a cryptos, or will it be gold-backed trading in yuan and ruble, or will it be the Bitcoin mania going to 1 million? We don't know, of course. Or how about another option? Them doing away with this system and setting up the mark of the beast, which the mark of the beast is already here. And everybody's already, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are already using it to make payments. Yeah, y'all think about that? Okay. Commerce, dealing with buying and selling. This beast wants to implement a system that if you don't do any business within the grid of this system, that you cannot do any trade, any commerce, any buying, any selling. All right. So, and it's been coming out. It's becoming mainstream that many people are getting chipped, and in the near future, people will be getting chipped. Okay. Now that could be very well very soon. All right. And they're getting you gradually ready for it by nudging it in your face. All right. All these other crypto alternatives, really, these are all just trial runs to see how it works. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Well, as a matter of fact, let me read this last paragraph right here because this is on point as well. It says, gold will continue to be the only currency to survive in history, just as it is for almost 5,000 years. Physical gold and silver are the ultimate form of wealth preservation as well as insurance against the economic and financial calamities that the world will experience in coming years. And that's supported by the scriptures, man. All right. Money was always considered things of the earth of substance, and it had to have a certain measure. All right. Let me see real quick. I think it's the previous chapter. Let me see. All right, here we go. This is Genesis 13:1. And Abram went out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with them into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold. All right, that's money. That's wealth right there. All right, and the scriptures tell you that we're supposed to have a just weight and a just balance. All right. Let me see if I can find that. I'm not sure if it's Deuteronomy or Leviticus. All right, let me try Leviticus a lot. And that's ultimately why the Lord's going to allow this devil to destroy this U.S. dollar, man, because it's a abominable balance. All right, it's not a just measure. Leviticus. Leviticus 19 and 35. It says, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment and meteor in weight or in measure." All right. So your money is supposed to be supposed to have a certain measure of value, man. Whether it be in gold, silver. All right, it's supposed to have the proper backing, but the U.S. doesn't have it. It just goes around bullying. All right, your dollar is backed by the shedding of blood. Okay, so it's an abomination. It says, "Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall you have. I am the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt." Okay, let me get Micah 6 real quick. Micah 6 and 10, it says, "Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable? Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances in the bag of deceitful weights? For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth." All right. And like I said, they gotta shed blood, they gotta commit acts of violence just to keep the worth of their dollar afloat, which there's nothing of value back in their currency. So what it all boils down to is it's gonna collapse. Okay, World War III is gonna happen. The solution, all right, they're talking about this so-called currency, all right, which it remains to be seen. We're at the the last quarter of the year, so we're gonna see what happens. But we know ultimately the Lord is gonna have this devil, this beast. He's gonna implement that mark, man. That's what it's all gonna lead up to, man. All roads lead to the mark of the beast. All right, Revelation 13 and start at 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." All right. And we all should know by now the penalty of receiving this mark, man. You get that chip, it's over with. You're gonna be destroyed. Okay. So hey, prophecies are speaking, man. Okay. And we're gonna see what happens, in this build up, and in the grand scheme of all this, we're gonna see how it all plays out, man. You're gonna start to see the EU grow more and more hatred for the United States up under Trump. You're gonna start to see Russia and Iran and China continue to build their power coming together. All right, which is going to be the ultimate force that the United States is going to have to fight with. All right, and it's going to lead to World War III, which is going to lead to the demise of the American empire once and for all, man. And thus saith the Bible. That's what prophecy says, man. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try to make sure I post these two articles, these links in the description box for the brothers if you want to read more into it. So anyway, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Until next time, Shalom.
And while we're talking about Babylon the Great, America, who could forget this piece of shit, fucking Columbus, yeah. You know, we were made to worship this fucking holiday, which is a hell day, because of what he had fucking done, you know. This fucking worthless piece of goddamn shit, you know. You know, I fucking hate America and everything it stands for, but this is just bringing out Revelation 17 and 18. God.
Shalom. Apostle Star coming back at you with the truth, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, Christopher Columbus, Just Another Devil in Esau's History. Anyway, this is an article. Actually, what I did was, there's a video. This is from a GRE Clips, which GRE stands for Joe Rogan Experience. And he had conducted an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, entitled Neil deGrasse Tyson, How Christopher Columbus Was a Dick, Joe Rogan. So I listened to about 5 minutes in, a little bit more than 5 minutes in. And basically he tells a story that I'm going to read the article on about how Cristobal Colon, or Christopher, better known as Christopher Columbus, on his fourth journey to the Americas, he had to deceive the tribes over there and to them helping them with food, because his ships are getting broken up and leaking because of worms, and in order to feed his crew, you know, he had to rely on these tribes here, the Israelite tribes, and basically they couldn't help him because they only grow enough to live on for until the crop is done. In other words, they don't store anything, and that's what they did at that time. So he had to lie to them and tell them that his God was angry and that he was going to turn the moon off. And at first they didn't believe him, and then when it actually happened, they believed him and they wound up helping him, which is part of the plans of the Most High anyway, because Esau's job was to come over here to establish America, so that eventually it can be destroyed ultimately. And this was the place that was, I'm talking about the Americas, that all the tribes would come to. And that's spoken of in, or written about in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. You can start from the 40th verse. Anyway, I'm going to go into the, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the scriptures first. And then I'll read parts of the article. Anyway, this is Revelation 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And that bottomless pit represents Europe. And he laid hold on a dragon. Now, if you're a Christian, you're picturing an actual dragon or a demon. Well, this dragon represents a certain segment of these Edomites. and they make a reference to the dragon in Revelation 12, how the dragon uses its tail to pull down a third part of the stars of heaven, and the stars of heaven represent the Israelites, because you had 3 tribes that were in Jerusalem at that time, and it was through the Romans, really through Herod, because the Romans backed them up militarily. They worked together, and it was the Romans that set up this devil, Herod the Great, and they set him up to be king of the Jews. Anyway, yeah, man, it's obvious. When you understand these scriptures, you can clearly see that this man, these Edomites are in fact the devil, a race of devils. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent. He's also known as a serpent, which is the devil and Satan. So you got these Christians saying that we're going off because we're calling the white man a devil, we're calling him Satan, we're calling him a serpent, we're calling him a dragon. Well, I'm reading about it right now. If you understood prophecy, which Vocab Malone and Dr. James White the Edomite, they'll never do a video, or they haven't did a video on prophecy going into the book of Revelation. The only thing that this clown, Dr. James White the Edomite, would say is, it's pronounced Revelation, not Revelations. That's about all he knows about the book of Revelation. He would never go in there and break down any of these books. And neither will Vocab, because they like I've been saying from the beginning, that these people, they don't understand, and they don't know prophecy. That's why they'll never do a video on what the mark of the beast is, or what does Gog and Magog represent, or the War of Armageddon, or the trumpets found in the book of Revelation. Or they would never go into the book of Daniel the 2nd chapter, or Daniel the 7th chapter, or Ezekiel the 28th chapter, Isaiah, Jeremiah chapter 50, Jeremiah chapter 49, Jeremiah chapter 51, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 34, or the 34th chapter. They would never do a video on any of these chapters because they don't know how to break them down, those particular books or chapters. Anyway, it says, Revelation 20 verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, and then we're going to find out that Christopher Columbus and his crew were part of that dragon, or a bunch of devils that came over here and deceived the Israelites. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And that represents during the time when Constantine the First, or Constantine the Great, came into power. They overcame them Edomites and pretty much enslaved them, just like Esau does to us now. We were doing to them back then. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. So we're in the time period of the end of the little season. It said after 1,000 years. So when he was locked down, that was during the time of Constantine, when he sat up on the throne. That was 325 AD. Now, when did the devil start taking over the world? He started in Europe. He took down the Moors. He took down the so-called Byzantine Empire, and that started pretty much around the mid 1300s. And when they actually went to the New World, on your dollar bill it says Novus Ordo Seclorum. So the birth of the New World Order started with Columbus when he came over here to the New World, as they call it. It says, third verse, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. So when he was loosed after a 1,000-year period, what did he go back doing? Deceiving the people. Now, I looked up the word deceive. And the word in the Greek is platnao. And I'm going to look up the root of that word. I'm going to go to the the etymology of that word. But let me read this first. Platnao means to cause to stray, to lead astray, lead aside from the right way. And that's what this devil did. To go astray, wander, roam about, metaphorically, to lead away from the truth, to lead, and that's what this devil did. Because what did Christopher Columbus and these devils ultimately bring to the world? They brought their religion, their Renaissance Christianity, and the Renaissance period started in Europe, where they took down, where they destroyed or defaced the dark images of the saints and put up images of themselves. And that picture Caesar goes back to, or the picture of the so-called Christ goes back to Cesare Borgia. To lead away from the truth, and that's what they did. Anytime you go to a Christian, when I say Christian, I'm talking about Esau's Christianity, the devil's Christianity. The religion that vocab practices, which is the devil's, that's another term, hashtag the devil's Christianity, which is plantation Christianity. That's what they gave to the slaves. That's why these jakes are still bugged out in their brains. Here it is, 2018, the year of prophecy, and they're believing in some. And they follow this guy vocab. They're following this devil, this German, to lead away from the truth, to lead into error. And that's what vocab is doing. That's what Dr. James White is doing. That's what all these Christians are doing. And all these Negroes that were set up, I'm not even going to call you Israelites, that were set up to push this Renaissance slash plantation Christianity, the devil's Christianity, to lead away from the truth, to lead into error, to deceive, to be, and a lot of our people are going to accept that chip because this devil is going to deceive them to accept that chip, to be led into error, and that's all this man did since he got over here, since day one, up until this point. All he managed to do was deceive you bird-brained Israelites to be led aside from the path of virtue, to go astray, sin. So what he did was a sin, or when he came over here and deceived these other tribes, was sin. He led them into sin. And who leads you into sin? The devil. to serve, to sever or fall away from the truth. And you got Negroes to this day that woke up to the fact that they were Israelites, and then went back and went back and got back with the devil, of heretics, to be led away into error and sin. Now I want to go to let me go to the root of the word, which is plana, which means a wandering, a straying about, one led astray from the right way, roams hither and thither. And that's what the spiritual demon Satan did in Job, the first chapter, the first chapter. It says mental straying, error, wrong opinion relative to morals or religion, error which shows itself in action, a wrong mode of acting, error, that which leads into error, deceit, or fraud. And that's what this devil is all about: error, deceit, and fraud. And he's a liar. He's a lie personified. Now, one of the definitions of planao, which goes back to the word deceive, is to lead somebody into sin. Now, this is 1 John. 1 John 3. It says, and 4, whoso committeth sin transgresses also the law, for sin is a transgression of the law. And I'm going to read down. And ye know that he was, and ye know that he was manifested to take away our sin, which is our Lord, which he only came for the children of Israel and or the nation of Israel, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither know him. Little children, talking to the Israelites, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin, and that's what Christopher Columbus did, one of many devils. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of the Most High was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. So who's the devil? You so-called white people, you Edomites. And what is your part of your works? Well, one of your works is that you destroyed the earth, pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 18, and therefore you must be destroyed. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the actual story, article, read about this here devil Cristobal Colon, which is we found out he's a so-called Jew. It says how a blood moon eclipse spared Christopher Columbus from disaster on final voyage to New World. I should say to the New World. Let me read through this. Okay, this was put up October 2016. It says in 1492, Christopher Columbus made his infamous voyage across the Atlantic Ocean to the New World that set the stage for future voyages. However, his fourth and final voyage almost ended in disaster if it were not for the help of the moon. So here comes the deception. Over a decade after his first trip to the New World, Columbus set sail on his fourth and final voyage that was riddled with problems. His fleet in the 1502 voyage across the Atlantic was comprised of 4 ships, but not all of them made it to their intended destination. It says the 4 ships that he had were being eaten by worms that would eat the wood, so the ship started becoming unstable and leaking, said Mel Blake, associated professor of physics at the University of North Alabama. Later that year, Columbus and his crew landed on the island now known as Jamaica, with only two of his 4 ships. However, these 2 ships were damaged, so they were stranded on the island until relief arrived. At the time, Jamaica was inhabited by local people called the Arawak Indians, who decided to help Columbus and his men. They were showing him love. They were showing this devil love. They showed up with large ships and gust, and it all seemed very impressive, so the local people helped them, Blake said. Let me just read, let me just go down. Okay, I'm skipping around. It says eventually the Arawak Indians refused. Well, he needed help from them, and they refused because they only had enough to sustain them, the Arawak Indians, which are the tribes. Eventually, the Arawak Indians refused to help Columbus, and in the beginning they helped him, but you can only help somebody so much, and his crew any longer. A decision that could spell disaster, as they were not equipped to survive on the island for an extended period of time. Christopher Columbus knew that he had no way of getting off of the beach because his ships were still leaking and he was waiting for relief. So he needed a way out. He decided to use blatant trickery, or demonry. That's a word I came up with. It says how a blood moon would come to Columbus' aid. It says back in the time of Columbus, they used astronomical charts to help navigate while out at sea. They also had astronomical almanacs that would entail positions of the moon, as well as events such as lunar eclipse. Columbus had a copy of an almanac that described a total lunar eclipse that would happen on the evening of February 29, 1504. This eclipse would be his opportunity to convince the local people to help him again. So he deceived the people. Okay, it says, goes on to say, 3 days before the eclipse, Columbus told the Arawak Indians that his God was very angry and that they were no longer helping him. As a repercussion, his God would turn off the moon until they decided to help him. And see, that's the devil, man. That's the devil for you. It goes on to say this may have sounded like a ridiculous claim to the local people, but 3 days later, Columbus' prediction began to unfold. It says the eclipse, the eclipse started happening, and the moon started to get a little nibble taken out of it as the Earth's shadow crossed the face of the moon. Blake said, "It turned this blood red color the way a total lunar eclipse do." This terrified the locals. They promised to help Columbus again as long as he restored the moon back to normal. Shortly before the eclipse ended, Columbus announced that his God was pleased again, and that the moon will return to normal. Moments later, the eclipse was over. The moon appeared as it normally does in the night sky, and Columbus' trick or deception had worked perfectly. The locals would now supply him and his crew with food and supplies throughout the remainder of their stay until relief arrived. So now we don't know how many of these Israelites died because they gave up their food to this damn devil. And I'm gonna close, but anyway, in a couple more weeks, Christopher Columbus Day was the first week or whatever, the second week of October, something like that. Anyway, that Saturday, Most High willing, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai Ratzah will be out there, and we're gonna go in on you devils, which we do every year. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say.
Moving on to this proxy war, which is really a trade war, and how the mark of the beast is going to be rolled out from this, as we know that pretty much, we know that just a couple of years ago, Moab was devaluing their currency just to pretty much stay on top. So, they're doing this deliberately to devalue everything to where money, gold, silver, all of it becomes useless. And so they could put a chip in you.
In January, in his first significant trade move, U.S. President Donald Trump authorized a tariff on the import of solar panels. 1 month later, his administration slapped a 30% tax on all foreign-produced solar modules. Beijing wasn't singled out, but as the world's biggest maker of solar equipment, it was a clear target. Indeed, the majority of panels coming into the U.S. were coming from China, and they still are.
So the immediate impact was we saw prices increase.
John Smirnow is with the Solar Energy Industries Association in Washington. The group represents the interests of more than 1,000 U.S. solar firms.
The negative impact has been a loss of 9,000 U.S. solar industry jobs and a loss of about $2.5 billion in investments in U.S. solar projects.
That's large-scale utilities projects scrapped, but the impact may trickle down.
Anyone who's a solar
truckload of smashed-up cars arrives at a scrapyard. A claw picks up each one before effortlessly dispatching them into a trash compactor. Jeff Patness is the chairman of Patness.
Here's a shiny piece.
A company his grandfather set up in 1905. Today, it employs some 600 people across 18 locations throughout Michigan and Indiana. Last year, the company sent 4,000 containers of scrap to China, by far its largest customer. But then came the announcement in April that China had imposed retaliatory tariffs on US aluminum waste and scrap. By August, the tariff net widened to include all metal scrap commodities.
We're kind of the innocent bystanders walking along here, and all of a sudden, it's like a brick falling off the ledge, and hits us on the head.
The U.S. Recycling Industry Trade Group reports that the United States exported a total of $5.6 billion worth of scrap commodities to China last year. Patness believes the decision by the Trump administration to impose tariffs is a mistake.
We were shocked to see some people in our government thinking that, this is an easy thing or there won't be any retaliation, and we just said, what are you thinking about? I mean, how you expect to do something like that and there wouldn't be a response?
With the added tariffs, the price of US scrap metal recycling has slumped. It means auto suppliers and manufacturers that recycle excess metals are also being hit by lower scrap prices when they attempt to recycle the byproduct. With metal prices increasing because of tariffs, that is a further blow to steel and aluminium using manufacturers. Pavnos remains hopeful that a resolution to the trade dispute can still be found and that business can return to normal. If not, they fear long-term consequences to the trade.
If our customers lose, it's like us losing because you won't have that business again. It's like a loss. Everybody thinks people talk about a term win-win and sometimes lose-lose. I think, we have the potential to create a lose-lose situation. It isn't win-lose, it's going to be lose-lose.
That view is echoed by Jeffrey Bergstrand of the Mendoza College of Business at the nearby University of Notre Dame.
It's going to price us out of the market, and that is going to actually tend to hurt the Michigan economy in terms of numbers of jobs. I think that's going to be the biggest impact.
The scrap trade between the US and China was a lucrative business. That, for now at least, lies in tatters. Dan Williams, CGTN, Holland, Michigan.
So while Esau's getting they just reminds me of another song by System of a Down, Psycho, Propane, Cocaine, Crazy. And just fucking, our people are caught in that just as much, but, Esau created the drugs and now he can't get off of them. They're fucking nuts, man. You can't fucking do anything like that tweaked out bitch that came on to me earlier this week, man. It was hilarious because I don't think that she expected the backlash that happened there. Yeah, man, she probably thought I was a Jesus freak, man. She got some demons on her. But, fucking methamphetamines is like the main one these Edomites are fucking addicted to. While our people, also are addicted to cocaine. But all this is supplied by Esau. Of course it is. Duh. That's how he keeps this witchcraft going.
Behind these gates stands the Salle de Chute, the fix room, France's first legal venue, especially for addicts. The idea was to give addicts a safe space to get clean needles to prevent the spread of disease, as well as to be able to seek help. But since it opened almost 2 years ago, people living and working on this street say it's turned their lives into a nightmare.
And despite their anxiety about the Salle de Chute, many locals were too afraid to speak directly on camera.
C'est un quartier difficile.
C'est difficile pour habiter ici?
Oui.
Oui. Pourquoi?
Ici. C'est à cause de la drogue, tout, vous savez?
Hier, entre ces deux voitures, il y avait une fille qui était en train de se piquer. À 2 heures, la salle est ouverte.
Parce que c'est tout le temps le bordel ici.
Oui, le bordel ici.
Les drogués, ils se bagarrent pour avoir de la drogue, tout ça. Parce qu'ils prennent un dérivé du crack, c'est le subutex. Ils vendent ici, ils se battent tout le temps ici.
Locals claim that the shooting gallery, as it's been dubbed by the media, makes the area far more dangerous. And even though hundreds of addicts have made use of the facility, many also are still choosing to shoot up right here on the street. Videos taken in recent weeks show drug deals also openly taking place in broad daylight. The last time RT visited this street, Rue Ambroise Paré, we too witnessed an addict getting their fix. This is the spot where that video was shot, and if you come with me now, I want you to just get a sense of how close that addict was to the drugs room that has been set up by the authorities here. It's just over here, it's a stone's throw away, and instead of using that facility that was available, they decided to get high on their own terms. Violence and aggressive behaviour is now being witnessed here almost daily. Police statistics show that since the drugs room was opened, more than 1,800 offences have been reported for the possession of narcotics, their consumption and theft. Despite the outcry from locals and significant evidence showing that it isn't having the desired effect, the authorities are now looking up to open a further 4 drug rooms, along with a mobile version.
I think it would be necessary to have 4 rooms in Paris and its suburbs, including one to deal with smoking crack, to allow balanced treatment that meets health needs.
But if this pilot project is anything to go by, these new versions just won't solve the problem. In fact, they could create even more. Charlotte Dubinsky, RT, Paris.
So let's just listen to more bullshit about how they're going to roll it out. Oh, there's going to be hell to pay for those that are dealing with Iran, that Iran's got hell to pay. Yeah, you already pulled off a Mossad operation, but, man, Persia, man, they ain't fucking stupid. They know who fucking did it. They know that it's the fucking United States who supports these terrorists.
Sir, it's day 2 of the UN General Assembly, but it seems as if the tensions between the United States and Iran are still going to dominate.
Yes, absolutely. And once again, it's Donald Trump in particular who's making the headlines. We expected him to dominate yesterday's proceedings, and he duly did. But he wasn't alone. He was also joined, as you've said, by his national security advisor, John Bolton, and we had some pretty fiery rhetoric from him. Now, we've had plenty of comparisons with North Korea. Last year, Trump fired away at Rocket Man, threatening to totally destroy North Korea. This year, we've had one summit between the two leaders, and there's now talk of another. The real progress, of course, is being disputed, but no one can doubt that at least tensions have been diffused. Can the same happen with Iran? Is the same scenario likely to be played out? Well, certainly the Iranian leader and others in Tehran are resisting that so far. There are no plans yet for talks. But however, the Trump administration does look to be using the same tactics. Donald Trump attacked what he called a corrupt dictatorship, sowing chaos, death and destruction. And later we had John Bolton using pretty similar rhetoric. He turned the Iranians' rhetoric on its head, in fact, taking their words and then employing similar phrases himself. He said, they call us the great Satan, Lord of the underworld, master of the raging inferno. Well, here was his message to what he called their murderous regime.
If you cross us, our allies or our partners, if you harm our citizens, if you continue to lie, cheat, and deceive, yes, there will indeed be hell to pay. Let my message today be very clear. We are watching, and we will come after you.
Now, amidst all this rhetoric, the EU has launched a plan to bypass the US sanctions on Iran. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, just picking up from John Bolton, of course, he says hell to pay. The big question is, what does that mean? Well, so far, of course, we have had the very concrete move by the Trump administration in pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal and reimposing sanctions. First batch in August, the next batch due in November, including hitting the lucrative oil export industry. The reality, of course, of the American superior economic clout is that many companies are pulling out. John Bolton says he will aggressively pursue that policy of insisting on those sanctions and attacking those who try to get round them. But the EU is sticking to its guns. Now, it's been very criticised earlier this year by reviving its blocking statute to try to keep Western firms, European firms operating in Iran, but that's been criticised as ineffective. But Federica Mogherini and her team, and she met with the others from the world powers who were behind the nuclear deal, and also the Iranian foreign minister just a couple of days ago, and they are sticking to their guns. This special payment plan, they want that to be implemented, and they say now they're talking with Russia and China to try and get them on board, to keep them as a bloc, as it were, to keep this accord in pace and counter the US position.
Here's another reason why these fucking goddamn Edomites need to fucking go, man. The animals are suffering under Esau's rulership. This is fucking terrible. Another brother, I believe, GMS Great Waters 3 put out this video, and it's just terrible what's happening, you know. Fucking animals aren't meant to be in a fucking goddamn circus, you know. But that's Esau, whatever can make a quick buck.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And I want to give a sincere shalom to the house of David the elect. Also, I want to say to you brothers out there on the highways and the byways, risking your lives and doing the work for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, continue to do so, all right, in spirit and in truth and in faith, all right. I'm the brother Zion, and I found this article on RT, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, I'm going to be bringing out a lot of information from this site, Lord willing, to be edifying to you brothers, all right. And this right here, man, it just pretty much proves that not only are we suffering as Israelites on the planet Earth, but also life itself is suffering under the rulership of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? And this is why we go so hard for this truth, man. And this is why we prophesy. All right? Because, you know, life is suffering. Okay? As it is written, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And it's not only the people, you know, it's animals, it's nature. And as you brothers can see from the title of this video, it says tiger suffers seizure and freezes during performance at a Russian circus. And basically, man, you know, in the kingdom, you know, I'll just say it like this, man. A tiger isn't meant to be in a fucking circus. First off, man. A tiger is meant to be in the wild, all right? And it should live in the wild, okay? It should be able to enjoy its habitat that the Most High gave it. But Esau Edom, he'll fucking put a tiger in a zoo, all right? Or train it to be some type of entertainment so he can make money and profit off of it. Okay, so the animals are suffering, man. I remember the elder Yashawamba did a video some months back, how basically those, I believe it was sea turtles, and how they have herpes. You know, how is that possible? It's all under the rulership of Esau, Edom. So basically, this tiger suffered a seizure. All right, so it says a performing tiger froze and suffered a seizure at a Russian circus on Sunday after jumping through flaming hoops for famous animal trainer Arthur, I'll just say Arthur B. All right, so obviously a Russian last name. But, you know, like I said, a tiger shouldn't be jumping through no damn hoops with flames around it, man. It says in a circus performance in the city of Magnitskovsk near Kazakh border. Let's see if I can pronounce this. Bagdazrov and an assistant put a pack of tigers through their paces with the breasts jumping through hoops for the audience. While waiting for her turn, one tiger begins convulsing and pawing at the cage surrounding the ring before stiffening up completely. So basically, this tiger was trying to give signs that it wasn't right, man. It says Bagdazrov pokes the tiger with a stick as a stagehand throws water on the animal. The tiger recovers, but Bagdazrov drags her away by the tail, and after swiping at her trainer, she is led off stage. Bagdazrov told Russian media that it was not possible to determine what exactly happened to the tiger, but said that she recovered afterwards and was drinking and eating as normal after the show. All right, so basically this tiger, you know, basically the tiger had the spirit like, fuck this shit, man. But it suffered a seizure, you know. Why? Because Esau, don't forget, you know, these Russians are Edomites too, man. So Esau is got these animals all fucked up. All right? Because he doesn't know how to rule, man. Okay, everything is about making money with this devil. This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea shall be taken away. All right. So not only is the land mourning, but also the beasts of the field. All right, the fowls of heaven, the birds are messed up from Esau spraying chemtrails and air pollution, and the same thing with the fish, man. All right, from water pollution, dumping oil into the ocean. All right, everything is completely out of order, man. It's completely out of whack. All right, and let's get that in Isaiah. All right, you know, I just wanted to bring this out, this article, you know. Lord willing, to be edifying to you brothers, man. You know, sometimes you just gotta bring these lessons out, even if it's something that's just on your spirit. You know, sometimes brothers just be looking for something, man, and then you find it and you just bring it out. Salakia. Okay. Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. All right. And that's what Esau Edom has done. He's turned everything upside down. He put the woman over the man. Okay. He's everything in the society he's done backwards, man. Okay. He put animals for entertainment. All right. He fucking puts lead in the water. He dumps oil into the ocean. Okay, he sprays chemtrails in the air. He legalizes homosexuality. Now these devils are gonna try to legalize pedophilia. Everything is backwards, man. Okay, not to get off topic. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? You know, so this man has pretty much turned everything upside down, man. And Lord willing, we'll play the video of this tiger. Jeremiah 12. Let's see what we got. Jeremiah 12:4. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of every field wither? For the wickedness of them that dwelleth therein. The beasts are consumed, and the birds, because they said, and shall not see our last end. So the beasts of the field are consumed, man. Okay. Let's read this last part. It says, if I had not brought the animal to life, it would have simply been ripped apart by the rest of the predators who were in the arena, he explained, adding that from now on, the tiger will be receiving regular examinations. So they're still probably going to have this tiger outperforming. Actually, you know, it's like a 4-minute video, so I don't really know when it's going to happen. But you brothers can check it out for yourself, you know. It's on RT. So that's pretty much it, brothers. I just wanted to bring that out. Tiger suffers seizure and freezes during performance at a Russian circus, you know. And when you, like, I think like last year, I had went to the zoo, you know, with my kids, and I thought I was going to have a good time, you know, with my kids. But when you in your right mind, you see these animals in the zoo, man. It's basically like these animals are in captivity, you know. So I was looking around like, what the fuck, man? You know, I didn't even enjoy it, man. You got a bald eagle in the zoo, he can only fly like 20 to 30 feet, you know, and he's meant to fucking fly all across the, you know, to different states all across the sky, man. You know, you got the lions in the zoo, they rib cages are showing, they all lazy and shit, you know. Esau is the devil, man. Anyway, with that, shalom.
And so this is from GMS, Behold, I Come Quickly. We know that Vocab Malone will not fucking answer this, but we're going to put it out there, man. You know, what does he think about the concentration camps? What does he think about martial law? What does he think about the mark of the beast? You know, how come he ain't talking about all that? You know, one of the biggest reasons before I got to this truth here is it's like, man, they're not even talking about the mark of the beast in fucking church, and yet here's the RFID right there in the fucking Obamacare bill, and they ain't even fucking talking about it. You know? So that's when I started to differ with Christianity. And eventually I got the fuck out of that church. And eventually I found this. I found the real truth. Who the Israelites were, because I just felt there's no way them fucking gutter rats over there could be the actual Jews of the Bible. They don't match the scriptures. They don't even look like the Ishmaelites. They don't look like those other countries that are around there. They definitely don't look Syrian either, you know. And Syria is our brother, you know. And nah, man, they don't look at all like them. They do not match. It's because they're not the real Jews. We're the real Jews. Judah, Levi, Benjamin, you know, and the confusion of face that be among us, the northern and southern kingdom coming together into one stick, the tribe of Joseph. You know, pretty much, because it's all into one stick. That is the 12 tribes chart, which they try to come against. Of course, Vocab Malone recently tried to say that the chart was fake, but he doesn't ever question them fucking goddamn gutter rats. He won't get into Bible prophecy. No, of course not.
All right, Shalom, I came out there. First and foremost, before I start, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, that's the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, that's the name of his beloved Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to elect by Hashem, Kwadash. Today's lesson I'm finna go into is Ask Vocab This. Concentration camp and Bible prophecy. Right? Because this guy, Vocab Malone, doesn't like to deal with Bible prophecy, which we're actually living in Bible prophecy. And one of the most, you know, disturbing things that you hear, that you both read in the scriptures and is actual documentation, paperwork out there on concentration camps. All right, so ask Vocab Malone about the concentration camps. And then, for those who run across this video, look up concentration camps. And then I'm going to show you how they're written in the scriptures. So before I start, the first scripture I did want to grab is this Revelation chapter 9, verse 10. It says, he leadeth, Revelation 9 and 10. Oh, I'm sorry, Revelation 19 and 10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, seest thou doest it not? I am thy fellow brethren. I am thy fellow servant and brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So that scripture, the latter part of that scripture clearly said the testimony of who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ is the spirit of prophecy, meaning that when he walked around on this planet Earth, the things that he was testifying was the prophecies of the Bible, which Vocab Malone doesn't like to go into. So check it out. I found some crucial and important information, man. All right, on this website called disclosed.tv. It says U.S. FEMA concentration camps in case of martial law. Over 800 prison camps discovered in the United States. So first thing you come to understand there's over 800 of them. And as you can see on this picture right here, where it shows the map of the United States, that's where they all located. Now, people have found these things, as I'm gonna show. People have seen, ask about FEMA coffins. People have seen FEMA coffins. Let's go, let's read some of it. It says, they are heavily guarded by the National Guard full time. So these things are operated and ran by the United States government, NATO, and the EU. It's all know about these things. It says, but are empty at all times. These camps are being run by FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. Should martial law take place in the United States with just a simple order of President Donald Trump, martial law can be implemented and he will remain president in the White House until it is over. So that's of a truth. Now, we all understand and know that the United States government, this is not a secret, this is not something hid. They want to implement the New World Order, and you can find that right here. And you think we learn, man, through the spirit of the Lord, we handling our business as far as doing the studying and matching up what's going on out here. Now we know that right there says aneptit coeptis, which means announcing the birth. And then it says at the bottom down here, it says let me see if it could get on. It says Novus Ordo Seclorum. If you got a dollar, you can see it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means the New World Order. My camera won't concentrate right now, man. But that's of a truth. And that's all Bible prophecy right there, man. These devils is gonna these United States government is finna try to implement the New World Order. And first they have to do a thing called order out of chaos, which they're gonna cause chaos, and then out of the chaos they're gonna introduce the solution. Now, this is all Bible prophecy right here, and a lot of people has to die. That's why they had these concentration camps and these FEMA coffins set up everywhere. Now let's go back to this Chrome. I was checking out a video that was on here. Check this video out. Let's see what this video is talking about. If this the one. Yeah, this is it right here.
Not too long ago, I talked with Dale Bohannon, whom I've known since, I guess, the mid-1980s. And he told me something very interesting that he found back in the fall of 2000 while he was on a business trip. Listen to this, folks.
I was pulled to the side road, which was a new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business.
Check this out. This is an Edomite speaking. This is not a Negro, Latino, Native American man. This is an Edomite man speaking, a so-called white man speaking here. All right, so this ain't conspiracy theory. This is real. All right, just like that on the back of the dollar bill, you have that secret code on there, man. But see, Vocab Malone don't go into prophecies because he don't know them, and the Heavenly Father's not dealing with him. Ask him about this stuff.
Business, actually, top-notch builder supply in Madison, Georgia. To my right, this was previously was a soybean field, and this little new cut road divided this field, and the right side of the road was filled with which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I was sitting there going over my notes, and a van pulled alongside of me that turned out to be the property owner. And he greeted me, and he was by himself, and so we had a good little dialogue there, and I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because they I'd never seen anything like that. And his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100, at that time he said there was 125,000 there. And they were...
He claimed there was 125,000 there. They plan on doing a lot of killing. And you tell me that this is nowhere written in the Bible? You know?
He told me 15 high. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing the land, leasing his land for storage. And
there you go. The CDC owned these things, the Center of Disease Control, over there in Atlanta. And he said they was leasing his land so they could store him there, because they finna throw everybody in concentration camps, as you can see on here. When I did some research, the biggest concentration camp they got is over there in Alaska, and it could hold like 1 million people or something like that, man. This is what we dealing with. This is what we dealing with. This Bible prophecy, and this is what we warn the people from. This is what we do at Great Millstone, warn the people from the Bible prophecy, which is that the Heavenly Father is going to allow this devil to do whatever he wants. All right? He finna do whatever he wants, and that's going to introduce the 800 concentration camps, the FEMA coffins where everybody, more than one body can be put in those things. And that's found, and this going to prove that the prophecy is found in second address in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, man. Which Vocab Malone says the Apocrypha ain't on point. But in the Apocrypha, it speaks about this prophecies. Let's read this real quick. Second address, in the book of Second Address, which Esau, the so-called white man, calls the fourth address. All right? This is Ezra that's actually written in the scriptures. The actual Old Testament, this is his book that was removed by the Bible Destruction Group. You know? But when you read verse 1 of chapter 15 in Second Address, it says, "Behold, speak down in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." Off top, you have to be talking about prophecy. It says, "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." These words are faithful and true, and this is found in the Apocrypha. Now, when you jump down to verse 5, it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." That's what's coming. Via concentration camps, FEMA troops, guillotines is the old thing that cut your head off. Those of them concentration camps is filled with those. Just do the research. It says, "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." That's why. Because wickedness have polluted the whole earth. So the Heavenly Father is going to allow this white man to do what he wants with his concentration camps. It said, I'm going to jump down to verse 10. It says, "Behold, my people, the Israelites, it says, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt." My people, the Heavenly Father's people, the Israelites, is led as a flock to the slaughter. They're going to be the ones that's going to be heavily infiltrated and put in these concentration camps. Because, like, going back, let's go back to this article real quick. It's a part that talked about Rex 84. Rex 84, it says the Rex 84 internment camp program. Now the Rex 84, let's read a little bit. It says, which would mean he remains president indefinitely, talking about Donald Trump. The Rex 84 camp program states, in an event which a mass exodus of illegal immigrants flock over the border, they will be rounded up and sent to FEMA camps. Illegal immigrants is talking about who? The Northern Kingdom. We know them biblically as the Northern Kingdom, the lost 10 tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. And that also includes the Southern Kingdom, which make up the Negroes, the West Indian and Haitians. The Negro Latino Native American man, Rex 84 for you, in other words, man. All you gotta do is look it up. And that's Bible prophecy. We reading it. Are people gonna be led as a flock to the slaughter? They're gonna be getting led off into these concentration camps. So I'm gonna go into executive orders now, which is Bible prophecy. Now jumping down to verse 14, I'm gonna jump in from the scriptures to the executive orders. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. We're getting to that point where everybody finna fight against each other out here. Some similar to the purge. It says, for there should be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings or princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So there's finna be a sedition amongst men, meaning that it's gonna be civil unrest out here. And then it said, and invading one another. People gonna be doing whatever they want, man. All right, and they said they're not gonna regard their kings or their princes. All the United States judicial system, which make up all the laws, people ain't gonna care about those things no more, man. Now check this out right here. I got it on a website called Educate Yourself. This guy goes in with placing all the executive orders that this United States government had put in plan for the near New World Order initiation. Okay, so let's check out some of these things. It says executive order 10,990. It says allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control of highways and seaports. So when you jump to the next verse, it says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into the city and should not be able. So this one says the government would take all modes of transportation and control of the highways, man. That's why the scripture said a man should desire to go into the city and should not be able, because you're gonna have executive orders, Bible prophecy. Executive order 10,995. The next one, it says, allows the governments to seize all control of communication media. They're going to take over all the media. The CIA already is buying out things like Google and whatnot. Executive order 10,997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Executive order 10,998 allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over the highways, seaports, and waterways. It says back in 2 Esdras 15 and 18, it says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See how this is all lining up to Bible prophecy of what Esau got, the so-called white man got in store. And this was what Vocab Malone came harping upon. And this is what we warned the people from. This executive order 999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. See that? They're going to control of all food. Executive order 11,000 allows the government to mobilize citizens into work brigades under government supervision. That's the executive order to put you in a concentration camp. When you look it up, brigades, that is a facility operated or overseen by government officials, and that's going to be the concentration camps. Now let's go to executive order 11,001. It says allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions, man. Now let's jump to executive order 11,004. It says allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new houses with public funds, designate areas and abandon, and establish new locations for population. So they're going to be able to take over your house, like it just said, your living space, and build on wherever they want. It says in verse 18 again in second Esdras, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See that? See how it lines all up, man? Look at all these executive orders. Check all these executive orders as you want, man. It says, back in second Esdras 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods. Now this is the point. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Didn't it just say that the government executive order 11,000 and what was that? 11,000 and 10,999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms, because this government is finna officially starve you out, man. That's what they finna do. They're finna starve you out. And it says because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, that's why people gonna be doing what they do, because the United States government gonna have control over all the food, man. All right, just like 70 AD, they starved out Jerusalem. Okay, so ask vocab alone about these scriptures and this documentation, because it fits Bible prophecy, and that prophecy is written in second Esdras. You can find it all throughout the New and Old Testament as well, man. All right, so I'm gonna close it out with that. I'm gonna say, Barakati Hawa, Barakati Hawa Shai, Shalom Akim Step, Shalom. Hope you was edified. Shalom.
And this, of course, is GMS Great Waters 3. Pretty much just kind of paying it forward. Just another day at camp, you know, as we go out there and we teach in cities. And, of course, we're risking our lives to do so. You know, here in Reading, man, you got private security running everything, so you got to kind of bounce around, you know, and, you know, it's here in California alone, man, they, you know, have passed a law now that you have to register your Bible as a lethal weapon. You know, that eventually, you know, you'll, when you go buy a Bible at Walmart or somewhere else, you'll have to actually legally fill out a registration like you would for a gun. It's because this word's getting to Esau. It's drowning out Christianity, which has been our focus this entire week, as well as Revelation 16 and up. So with that, just want to let this play out. And I wanted to say Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Hope these videos have been edifying.
All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, as always, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And we want to give a sincere shalom to the house of David, the elect. All right, it's raining pretty hard out today, so you know we found a little cubby spot to you know, block the rain, Lord willing. You know, brothers gotta invest into some umbrellas, but nevertheless, we out here still on the highways and the byways to push this truth and to you know, prophesy the downfall of the society, because as men of the Lord, we have a job to do, all right? And that job is to come out here no matter what and teach the word, you know? So whatever you got, brother, just bring it out. We're going to go with the Spirit.
Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Right, notice it said, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Why? Because this place has a coming judgment. All right, and that judgment is going to be a harsh judgment, man. Okay, it's going to be a judgment like no other kingdom has been judged. Okay, because this place, like it says, her sins have reached into the skies, man. All right, and I seen a brother that a video this brother posted about Donald J. Trump. If I'm saying it right, Donald J. Trump, okay? He actually was giving a speech on the podium, and he was speaking about the mark of the beast. He was pushing it, all right? So the prophecies are coming to pass, all right? And the judgment is coming, man.
Well, he gave that speech at the, what was it, the UN General Assembly yesterday. It was all over Twitter that they were laughing at him, man. You know, he was talking about his accomplishments as a president. Everybody in the UN was fucking laughing at him, man.
Oh, as a matter of fact, that was on the Steve Harvey Morning Show today, because he said in the 2 years of his presidency, his group of, you know, his circle has accomplished more than any other group in any other presidency in U.S. history, and they started laughing. And he said, I wasn't expecting that response.
And then he was talking about, getting deeper into it, he was talking about how the United States is no longer a globalist country, and that it's going to be, and that he's going to push for nationalism, man. And that nationalism is going to create World War III, you know? Because the scriptures say a house divided against itself shall not stand. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Yeah, the philosophies, all right? We always speak about the philosophies of this place. Go ahead.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yeah, NATO and the EU, all right? Go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Yeah, because that's all this society promotes. That's how it was created. That's how it was set up. All right? Filthy abominations, man. Witchcraft, okay? Off the back and the blood of the saints, okay? But people have the nerve, our people have the nerve to uplift this society and believe that it's some great place. You know, even if you go to different parts of the world, they'll tell you that there's other parts in the world that's way better than America, man. All right? A lot of Jakes just never left America. They think it's so great. You know? Like some people, because I work at a gas station where you get a lot of tourists and all that, man. And this one dude, he was from, where's Rihanna from? Where's that island? Barbados. He was from Barbados, right? And he was like, man, you guys can't walk down the street and drink in this country? I was like, nah, man, they'll get you for like public intoxication. He was like, man, in Barbados, man, you can drink and drive. You can walk down the street with open containers. He was like, you got a lot of laws here, man. I was like, yeah, I know, man. You know?
But that's the outcome of Esau polluting the minds of the people. You know, it will Esau pollute the minds of the people so bad to the point he had to make all of these laws. And plus, a lot of these, and that's not the only reason why he made these laws. You know, he made a lot of unrighteous reasons. But that's just one of the outcomes. You know.
Yeah, and it's also to suck money out your pockets, man. If you get caught, you might just be taking a walk around the block with your lady or something. You got a beer, she might have a drink. Y'all just walking around the block, hanging out. And then the police could stop you and fucking get you for public intoxication, take you to jail or fine you. You know, and you just chilling, man. You ain't harming nobody, but that's the fucking decrees of Esau.
And then he has these, he upholds wickedness, man. You can't, you know, have a beer out at the park. You can fucking turn your penis into a vagina, man.
Right.
You know, and he'll act like you're some fucking hero, man. You can turn yourself into some damn alien. Verse 5.
Okay.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. And it is a mystery. Because a lot of these Christians, they can't get it, man. Because, you know, we've been going back and forth with No Slab Cologne, Vocab Malone. And Apostle Har's been asking him the question all year, man. Who is Babylon in the Scripture? Who's Babylon the Great in the Scriptures, man? Right. You know? Same thing with all these other Christians, man. They're saying you even got the Samaritans who don't know who Babylon the Great is. That's why it says Mystery Babylon the Great.
Yeah,
it's a mystery.
I was talking to this Arab a while back because you know he's where the old Babylon is, the first one. He's from there, and
over there in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Iraq area.
And I asked him if who is Mystery Babylon in the scriptures, and why is it saying? You know, he said that's the Babylon in the Middle East. I said, but that Babylon hasn't been destroyed yet. And he said, you know what?
This Babylon hasn't been destroyed yet. Oh, that Babylon was taken down. Constantly. It was taken down.
And I asked him, I said, if any country fit that scripture, which country would it be today? And he even said it would have to be America. You know.
That's right. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right, and that's another clue how we know that Babylon the Great is America. Okay, because it's the mother of harlots and abominations. Everything that every new trend of wickedness that goes on, it's birthed here, and then it's propagated out to the rest of the world through the Western media, which is run by the Amalekites and so-called Jews over there. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
Yeah, I saw the woman, which is America, Babylon, drunken with the blood of the saints, because this place has a personal agenda against the children of Israel, man. Okay, and that agenda is to destroy you, put you in these prison houses. Okay, and for you to be raised by a woman. Okay, and like I always say, they replace the man with a benefit card, or to give the woman certain benefits. Okay, because they don't want the Israelite man. They don't want the Israelite man to rule his household, man. So this place has completely destroyed the saints. Okay, men, women, and children, man. Because look at these women. Look at our women, man. That's from learning the ways of Esau. Reality TV. Okay, proud ass women. All right. So that, you know, we just got to get the hell out of here ultimately, man. Because this place is constantly persecuting us, man. Like, before we turned on the camera, and we was having this little conversation, we live in check by check, man. You know, you might be behind on a few bills, but for the most part, if you lose your job, you fucked. Because you live in check by check. You ain't got shit saved up.
And if you do got a little bit saved up, it ain't much.
It ain't much.
You know, and something will happen to where it's something will happen to where it'll disappear. That shit'll disappear somehow, man.
To payments.
You know, like the scriptures say. In fact, you want to get that Haggai 1:5.
Yep. Because that's all we do, man. We go to work, you know, and it's alright, take the time. We go to work, and it's like a fucking cycle, man. All right, you go to work for your 5 days, you get your 2 off. Some brothers work 6 days. Some brothers may work 7. All right, but you go to 5. I'll use 5 days. You get your 2 days off. You get 2 days off, go by like that. So you back there again. All right, and it's like a ongoing cycle, man. And you don't get no rest. Yeah.
Haggai 1:5.
This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 5. Now therefore said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little.
Right. Salaki.
That's right, man. Hey,
you sow much. Meaning, what did that mean when you sow? You working. You know, you sow much. Go ahead. But you what?
And bring in little.
You working 40 hours a week. Esau underpaying your ass. He has it set up to where you can just pay your bills and you got $60 left over, $100 left over, $150 left over.
Here, slave, go. Nice work. Go get you $10 worth of beer.
Right. Go put gas in the car.
Yeah.
And then you done.
Go buy some snacks at the store.
Right. Go ahead. So you sow much, but you bring in little. Go ahead.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
Right. You eat, but you not have enough. Okay. Some weeks you might be stretching your food out. You know.
Buying Roman noodles.
Right. Buying noodles and shit. You can't get the. Get the wheat bread. You gotta get the white shit.
Tuna fish.
We're lucky that eggs are cheap, man. Eggs are a good source of protein and they're cheap as well, you know? If it weren't for eggs, man, damn.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled.
with drink.
Well, the scripture's saying, I believe it's Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter, we're supposed to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Right. Hey, he drinks, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe, you do, but there is none warm. Go ahead. And he that
yeah, you gotta save up to get a good winter jacket, man. You know.
And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
And that was the whole point, man. Into a bag with holes, man. You can't get ahead, man. You know, you get a little bit, you'll get a little bit saved up, but something's gonna happen to where that bag of holes opens up, man.
It's like we work and 80% of our money goes to bills and fines and shit, man.
Well, hey, but Esau has it created to where it's designed just like that, like the brother was saying, just enough to get by, maybe give you a little extra so you can support the economy with your consumer spending, man.
The same people paying you is the same people taking 75% of your check away. That's crazy.
Back in Revelation 17 and 16, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman.
Right, like the brother was saying earlier, it's a mystery. You got a lot of Christians, all right, a lot of Baptists, Jehovah's Witnesses, or whatever denomination that they claim, they can't break down Revelation 17 and Revelation 18.
They say it's sealed. I get that in Isaiah 29 and 10.
Because it has to be given to you. It's a mystery. Go ahead.
I think it's Isaiah 29 and 10. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which had the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
Which we, go ahead.
Which we know that as today as being Europe, man. You know, the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The 7 heads represent the 7 main kingdoms of Esau. All right, which if you look it up, all of them carried the eagle at one point. You know, even if it wasn't in their primary flag, you know, it's in their courtrooms and things like that. And 10 horns. All right, and the 10 horns represent the original EU Economic Committee, the EEC. I think that's right. Yeah, the EEC nations, the original EEC nations, man. You know, and they're part of this beast system. They're the ones that are pushing this beast system. In fact, we always talk about the mark of the beast and the chip. The mark of the beast is way more far ahead in the land of Europe than it is here in America. Right? It's like years ahead. But you know, something's going to happen over here in the shores of America where that's really going to get pushed. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. Well, you got that in Isaiah? Yeah, bring that out real quick. Because I want to bring this out because, you know,
it's Isaiah 29 and 10.
Christians always talk about how it's a mystery. You know, it's a mystery. Revelation 17 and 18 is a mystery. We can't break it down. It's sealed. Well, somebody's got to be able to break it down.
Right.
When you read Revelation 5,
it's written for our learning.
You know?
It's Isaiah 29 and 10. For the Lord has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
Right, so just because you have the spirit of deep sleep and you can't see, you know, it doesn't mean that we're living in darkness. All right? That's what separates us from these Christians. As Christians, they don't have the spirit of prophecy. And to break down the book of Revelation, you got to have the spirit of prophecy, like it says in Revelation 19 and 10. Go ahead.
And hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered.
That's right. The prophets and the rulers and the seers hath he covered, man. You know, he's made them blind. He's made it so that you know, they could only follow the sweet Jesus down. You know, sweet Jesus didn't say it. It's not true. And then they'll say that we don't have to follow the Old Testament. Well, what do you think Howard Shai was teaching? Old Testament. He quoted over 100 times.
Word, New Testament don't begin until him.
Exactly. Oh, hey, Paul said what was written aforetime was written for our learning. That was before the New Testament was even written. So what is that old time talking about? It's talking about the Old Testament and the Apocrypha.
Hey, but they got that. They follow the doctrine of devils. Go ahead.
And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
Right, they'll say that it's sealed, man. And even if they don't say it's sealed, they'll act like it's sealed. Like I was watching that video of House Tahar did last night about vocab. Vocab just dodges. He'll dodge a question and make up a slander. Well, what about you're saying blah blah blah? Rape. They always go back to that fucking rape question. And the other Israelite groups, they shun GMS. GMS is the worst.
But that's what, man. We called them out on their bullshit, man.
We're the worst because we put the fire on your ass, man. You know, UPK, ISUPK, and IUIC, they ain't putting no fire on no Catholic. They ain't putting no fire on these Christians. They're in cahoots with Esau, man. They're sellouts. Is there more in there?
Which men delivered to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed.
Right, you even need a lot of these biblical scholars, they're learned, right? They went to college all those years, they studied the Bible, they get access to all kinds of archaeology that we've never even seen in our life. And they can't even, that's about it. They don't understand the dark sayings and the parables.
I got something. Go ahead. This is Matthew chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Okay, I'm going to start at verse 3, then I'm going to slide down to verse 10. Matthew chapter 13, verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower, the Yahushua spoke many things in parables, sliding down to verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. There you go. But to them it is not given. For whosoever hath...
It's not just the words written in red, man, that are parables. You got parables throughout the scripture, because the Yahushua said that he came in the volume of the book. Right. So the whole book is written of him, man. He is the word.
Verse 12. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, for... Well, that was the point.
Yeah, a parable is basically a dark saying, you know? So when you read Revelation, all right, it's not going to say America, okay, or it's not going to say black people, so-called African Americans, Chinese, all right. It's going to be written in parables, like Moab, Ammon, the children of Israel, etc. So you got to be able to decipher it.
That's right. It's not going to say China's going to go to war with America, or Iran's going to get, you know, bombed or anything like that. No, it's going to use Persia. It's going to use Elam. You know,
and the spirit
Babylon.
And the spirit has to be dealing with you in order for you to understand. You know.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. For if he that cometh preacheth another
Jesus.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or
another Savior, right?
Yep. Or if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel.
Well, hey, a lot of guys say that we got to come together, man. No, you guys got other spirits, man, and another gospel. You know, that's why we can't all come together. Like when we went to what was it, the Fatima Shrine, all them years back. what was that guy saying? He said, I'm going to be patient with you because you guys are Christians. It's like, we're not Christians, man. You're coming with a completely other Jesus. All right?
Right. And Catholics and Christians, they so-called follow the same book, but their shit is totally different.
Well, hey, even Christianity is just a branch of Catholicism, you know?
Which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with them. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles. But that's
and so like I wanted to make a point, because a lot of these false doctrines come from these Jews in the Middle East, and when it comes down to the Bible, they don't even deal with it, you know.
They don't.
And they the more you dig deep, and the more you this truth is revealed unto you, then you start to see the foundation of what this all these false doctrines are made up of are just, it's just trash.
Go back to Revelation. Hey, it's clear now. Where did I leave off? 8. Yeah, Revelation 17 and 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And why are they gonna wonder? Because they weren't given the mysteries, man. If you were given the mysteries, you're in the book of life. You know? When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains.
The mountains represent governments.
On which the woman sitteth. There are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, because they all form together, man. You know, they're all living off each other, man. Living off that euro, you know, prosper together.
That's
under
what
those EU laws.
That's what Christians are afraid to go into, you know, because they ultimately they don't want Babylon to be destroyed. They don't want the society to go down. All right, they're living off the 501c3 charters. Okay, they're benefiting off the people. They living deliciously. They're making money. You know, so they don't want the society to fall. You know?
Yeah, even the pastors that actually get into the scriptures somewhat. A lot of them got American flags in their videos. Shouldn't have no American flag in the background of your fucking house, man. When you're doing a video, you should hate this place, right? Because they don't know that American flag represents Babylon. Because they don't know it's Babylon. You know.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Yeah, because the Lord's going to judge it. It's going to be a harsh judgment. All right? Go ahead. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Yeah, her iniquities is what? Sin upon sin. All right? Go ahead. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which ye have filled to her double. Fill into her double. Go ahead. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. Right, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. And that's exactly what this society does. It lives deliciously, man. All right, off the backs and the blood of the saints. Okay, that's what this society does. It lives off your debt, okay, your sufferings. You know. Go ahead. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow. and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, I shall see no sorrow. Especially the citizens of this society, man. If you tell them that America's going down, the first thing they'll bring up is we have the greatest army. We can never go down. We'll just bomb them. You know, that's the pride of thine heart.
He's a violent. And these say that Esau's a violent man.
And these is the average citizen that don't even know shit. Yeah. The pride has dripped down onto them. And that shows who they believe their true power is, because America can do this, America can do that. We got the strongest military. They putting their trust in their heart into men.
In Isaiah 30, it says that they put their strength and trust in the shadow of Pharaoh.
Yep.
In Pharaoh. So
they don't consider the ways of Yahweh. All right, which the Most High can overthrow this. He is gonna overthrow it in an hour, as it is written. Go ahead. Hey, motherfuckers say Superman strong. He got this. He got that. Superman still get his ass whooped.
This up real quick. This is Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. You know that the jets, the F-22s, the F-35s, the F-16s.
Yeah, they got some of them can shoot out missiles.
You know. All them drones and shit. They trust in that shit. They don't even need to fly over a nation now, man. They can just have some damn robot drone bombs and shit out. Like and they're killing people like it's a damn video game.
Which they do be having drones flying and bombing civilians.
Because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
They look not into the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Because they trust in man. Our people really trust in this society, man.
Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men, and not Yahweh, and their horses flesh, and not spirit. Because that's what they do. They put trust in things that they can see, things that they can touch. You know, they put a fucking a video out on YouTube advertising the Marines and the Air Force. You know, come join today, and they got all these little clips of them being badass and they bombing shit.
And in their movies, they always overcome.
Yeah.
But the scriptures say they're not going to prevail.
They didn't even win in fucking Vietnam. They're going to beat some chariots.
Right.
You know? When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpless shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
This is Revelations 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. Yeah, Jake not ready for these plagues that's about to hit. Alright? The plagues are gonna overtake their asses so fast, man. Because they so deeply rooted into the ways of America that those plagues are gonna fucking destroy their asses, man. And they cannot see it, man. They're completely blinded. Because they think that this is it. You know? They think that this is it. America's I gotta try to get rich or die trying. You know? Jake think this is it, man. But the plague's gonna swallow their asses up. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. Yeah, all these other nations that have took on the ways of Babylon, took on the philosophies of Babylon, they're gonna bewail her when they see the smoke of her burning. Why? Because it tells you in the scripture that they're not gonna be able to make money no more. They're not going to be able to trade. They're not going to be able to make deals. Okay? And how are they going to see the destruction? How are they going to bewail this place and see the destruction like the scriptures say? Because it's going to be televised, man. The destruction is going to be televised. How else are they going to see it? They're going to see this place getting burnt with nukes, man. All right? And they're going to bewail and mourn for the society. But the scriptures tell us to rejoice. I believe that's Revelation 20:4. Go ahead.
And lament,
rejoice over her, thou holy apostles and prophets.
And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Right? And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Okay? Now when we come out here and teach that, they'll say we're teaching hate. All right? But we just coming out the scriptures, man. We delivering the Lord's message. Okay? So if you got a problem, you got to take it up with the Most High, Yahweh. That's right. Yahweh shot. Go ahead.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So that means the Lord, he gonna be doing a lot of work. He gonna be putting in a lot of work in that day, man. All right, for 1 hour, he's gonna destroy this place in 1 hour. And this is a large country, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that means a lot of missiles are gonna hit this place. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Bible. And these people, they really don't believe in the Bible. That's why they got a problem with what we say, because they don't really believe in the Bible, man. They want to do what the fuck they want to do, eat what they want to eat. Okay, say what they want to say. Do what they really got to do is thou will spirit. That's what this society pushes. Don't tell a nigga he can't have his bacon, man. Right. You know, or he got to chill out on the Sabbath, or he can't pop dude's wife. Man, fuck that nigga, man. She feeling me. That's Jake, man.
He ain't my man.
Go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Right, because it's going to be utterly wasted, man. Go ahead.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen.
Go to 20 and 4.
Actually, we were looking for this. Look it up. It's 18.
Oh, yeah, that's 18 and 20.
It's 20 and 4. So I don't know why
rejoice over
the beheading.
Oh, okay.
Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets.
Right, rejoice over her, man. Rejoice. Be happy.
Right.
Most High fucking destroyed this bitch, man. This has been nothing but a nightmare for us, man. This place is a fucking nightmare. But why don't you go to college? Why don't you go get a job? Motherfucker, we got jobs.
Right. Hey, what about that guy who was up here last week? He was a fucking college professor and he was a Satanist.
Well, why don't you get a better one? Because you know what? Now they starting to put on these job websites, this is an equal opportunity. You know they put that shit? We do not discriminate. This is an equal opportunity. That's bullshit, man.
Yeah, unless you want to have a beard on your face.
Right. That's a cover up, man. Hey, I was talking to this brother last night. They were saying he gotta start, you know, cleaning himself up a little bit. You gotta get your hair braided. You know, what the fuck? What's wrong with my fro, man? You know what I'm saying? You know, tone it down a little bit on the beard. You know, because Esau don't want you in there looking ancient, man. He wants you in there looking like a bitch. Just like my security company, man. They say you can't have this or this. I'm like, man, fuck that. And this ain't even no facial hair, really, man.
Yeah.
I ain't shaving this shit. This is all I got. You know what I'm saying? Lord ain't blessed me with a beard, man. This is all I got. I ain't shaving that, man. You know, they want you to be army style, man. That's why. That's how you know that Esau is a bitch. Because a man grows hair on his face for a reason. Just like you grow hair on your nuts, just like you grow hair on your chest, man. It's supposed to be there. It's not there. And then niggas complain when they get fucking all them goddamn razor bumps because you keep shaving your shit off.
And it's proven that people are more likely to listen to somebody with a beard because it shows leadership ability.
And this is dude at my job, and we talk about the security shit, and it was like, if you do it, you gotta call your shit off. That's what I was calling you for yesterday too. I was telling this dude, I was like, yo, that shit pay mad money. He's like, God, dude. He's like, yo, I'm doing that shit. I was like, yeah, but you gotta shave your shit. He's like, I can't, because when he shaved, he get keloids. And like, anytime he shaved just a little bit, a keloid will pop up, and you know, them shits don't go away.
Them keloids are serious.
And he got like you can see two like under his chin, but he got his hair covering the shit. Yeah. I was telling him, like, we ain't supposed to cut our shit anyways.
Yeah, in the Bible dictionary, when you look it up, it says a sign of, I believe it says a sign of, a badge of manly
dignity.
You know?
That's right.
It's like a lion with a mane, you know? If a male lion cuts his mane, what are you going to look like? A female lion.
If you're thinking about it, man, if you really think about it, man, dignity represents what? Your integrity. You know, if you're shaving your face for somebody, that means that you don't have no integrity, man. If you let your shit grow a little bit, now I understand, you know, brothers might have to trim up a little bit, but if you let your shit stay out, man, that means you're
like
not selling out.
If you got a beard, you can trim it down, but you just don't make it skinny, you know?
Yeah,
like you
5 o'clock
because if you cut it down, you don't cut it off. But like yours, you cut it down a little bit. But Jake, they be trimming they shit. They got the fucking the straws, man. They got, you know, and that ain't even no beard, man. You know, so you know you gotta do what you gotta do, man. But we got all off topic.
For Yahweh hath avenged you on her.
For the Most High have avenged. Read that part again. Rejoice over her.
Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets.
Right. So like I said, be glad, man. Be happy that the Most High get ready to destroy this place. All right.
That's right.
Because everything is gonna go back into its proper order. You know, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be able to enjoy our children. Our women are gonna be righteous. Imagine just having a righteous woman every day. That alone is comfort, man.
I was thinking about that the other day.
You know, you having real gold and silver, okay? Not dealing with Federal Reserve notes, okay? And there was a video. I don't know if they heathens or not, but there was a video of these South Africans apologizing for slavery, man.
Yeah,
I forgot which brother put it up. Yeah, they was apologizing for selling us into slavery, man. So this truth is out there, man. Because those Hamites ain't our people, man. And that just made me think of it. I don't know if they was Hamites or not, but you know, you had this black ass Hamite on the podium with some people behind him. I'm sorry for what my ancestors did during the transatlantic slave trade.
I mean, they gotta pay, man.
You Hamites going down too, man.
Y'all can apologize, but y'all still gotta get your ass whooped.
Yeah. Give me Lamentations 4:21. Which
this is Lamentations 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee.
Right, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. What's that cup? That cup is the cup of slavery. All right? That cup is all sorts of bad things that's going to come to you, man. That's going to happen to you. The curses are going to flip and they're going to go on to you and you other nations. Go ahead.
Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked.
You're going to be revealed. All right? And you are being revealed right now. Go ahead.
The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion.
Right, we getting ready to get out of here. All right, we getting ready to leave. We getting ready to go home. Okay, we getting ready to, Lord willing, get on the chariots, man. Okay. Okay.
He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
Right, this society's finished, man. All right, they know it. You know. Ishmael know it, Elam knows it, okay? That's why they look at that sign and they wink their eye. But they know this society's getting ready to be destroyed, man. Yeah. They just over here because they're a little more free, so to speak. You know? They can go down the street and fucking they can live deliciously. They can live deliciously with the whores. Alright? They can eat things they never ate. That's why those fucking Ishmaelites and those Edomites, they come into a gas station and they're in there for 25 minutes. But they don't know what the fuck they want.
They're not used to that kind of selection.
Right. Go ahead.
He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sin.
He will visit thine iniquity. He will discover thy sins, man. Alright? So the Most High is getting ready to do his work. We just got to be patient, continue to push the word, and be diligent, man. You know? Hey, some days are going to be better than others, but you still got to come out here and do the work. You still got to be a consistent servant, you know. You still got to do the ways of the Most High, man. And it's foreign to our people, man, because they've been completely westernized, man. They don't even know what's going on. Only thing they know is fucking iPhones and reality TV, man. Love and Hip. I bet they know the cast on Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, why that old bitch just curse?
Right.
Why that old bitch just curse? We can't curse, but that old bitch can curse.
And she looked at us like, what the hell is that? Yeah. She don't know what the fuck is going on. The plague's gonna overtake her, man. You know?
But yes, she go to church every Sunday. They gonna creep onto her unawares. She go to church every Sunday, and she don't know shit about the destruction. Which this book is filled with lamentations, mournings, and woes.
Lamentations, mournings, and woes. That's right.
And it's
see, nobody in the ancient days. Give me Isaiah. What is that? I said, watchmen upon thy walls. In the ancient days, they respected the watchmen, man. The watchmen were respected. That's why they would sit on the tower and look over the city. And if enemies came in, they would warn the people. And the people took heed to the watchmen back then. You know. But nowadays, they don't respect the watchmen, man, because it's too many distractions.
And like they respected like wise people.
Yep.
Like people like fucking entertainers and shit. That's what get respect now.
Yep.
But like,
hey, even they respected Daniel, right? Because Daniel, what was he doing? He was telling the visions, right? He was breaking down the visions.
Joseph,
they respected that.
Man, the time of judges, man, that's who they sought counsel from. It's from the elders.
Yep.
The various cities, towns.
Yep.
You know, they respect their elders. They respected not just them, but they respected their counsel.
Hey, not to put us on no type of pedestal or nothing, but instead of asking these wicked ass pastors and false prophets questions, they should be coming to us, man. All right, people that we live around in our cities, they should be coming to us. What should we do for this? You know, if it's concerning the scripture, they should be coming to us.
Or they ask,
because we know more than them fucking pastors and shit, man.
Or even like day-to-day activities, man. In their day-to-day life, these people, they'll ask some fucking idiot on the street, man. They'll ask their boy for some advice on something, man. You don't know shit. You're gonna ask a retard for some wisdom.
Yeah, they see counsel of fools, not of the wise.
Blind leading the blind.
And whoever they look up to, that's their idol. And we're not supposed to have idols, man. Like when I was younger, I used to have idols. I used to look up to certain basketball players. That's my idol. You know, we was going off, man.
I want to be just like him.
Our only idol is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. That's who we should strive to be like. All right, not man. Okay, where was he at? I've said watchmen upon thy walls. What is that? 60?
62 and 6.
62 and 6. Because like I was going into back then, they actually respected the watchmen. Now Jake don't respect the watchmen. The watchmen are looked at as shit, spittle, crazy, you know, crazy. But y'all bugged out.
They respect Nicki Minaj.
Right.
And Cardi B.
I was on Instagram, Cardi B had like 2 million likes on a picture. I said, look, this shit is crazy.
She not even...
That bitch admitted she slept her way to the top.
That bitch was in the strip club 3 years ago, man.
She said,
God damn.
What she say? She said that the ones that sleep with the most executives, those are the ones that get the deals or something like that. So she admitted she slept her way to the top.
But when we say that and we bring things like that out, like you gotta, if you a man, you gotta be a homosexual in Hollywood, man. That's why they uplifting Kevin Hart and fucking talking shit about Cat Williams. Because not to get off topic, remember Cat Williams in his one stand-up, he was speaking about those mansion parties and how he went into a room and he said, "Oh shit, is that such and such?" And then he closed the door. Like, you know, those elites, they listen to that, man. And then if you're speaking about that type of stuff, they'll blackball you. You know?
Yeah, I was talking to my brother about that the other day because he couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yo, I was sending him videos. I'm like, yo, this person they said it and he was hot, now he fell, and he couldn't receive it, man.
If you ain't down with the agenda, then they gonna blacklist you, man. But if you down with it, then you gonna be successful. You're gonna have the hundreds of millions of dollars. You're gonna have the movies, the blockbuster movies. You You're gonna have everything, man. But behind closed doors, better believe that they're doing things against what they would normally do.
And they giving up all their integrity.
Look at Kevin Hart compared to Paul Mooney.